Okay, so the last set I'm going to show you is for the glutes, and I'm going to show you how to do a hip bridge and a hip roll properly. One of the things that I think to make sure that your back doesn't get involved in this too much is to have a prop or some sort of like a book, again, to put your feet up on so that your pelvis can tilt and your hips can relax and your back can relax. So I'm going to be lying on my back and I'm going to put my feet right up here. Okay, now this could be a book. I want to make sure my heels are down. Now this time I'm not going to use a head pad underneath here. Unless my head is like this, since I'm going to be rolling up with my hips, I don't want too much compression on my neck. So I'm just going to leave it out. Otherwise I would have the pad there. The first one I'm going to show you is just how to do a hip bridge. Now most people when they do this, they use their back way too much. So they'll lift their hips up and they'll lower down. They'll lift up and lower down. And usually they're getting the majority of that range not from their hips, but by arching their back, and they don't know it. So what you want to do in these exercises is knock out the back as much as you can. So the way to do that is you just flex one hip in beyond 90 degrees. Okay, so just pull it in, don't think too much about it, and then just try to relax the front of your hips. Relax your shoulders, relax your chest. Don't grip into anything. And then just take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, push into the heel and lift the hip up slowly, and then inhale, slowly come down. Now one thing you want to do is you're only going to be able to go up as high as your hip will extend. You cannot go further than that because your other hip is flexed and that's keeping your back from getting involved. So that's the real value here. You want to make sure that you're just pushing through the heel, keeping the toes relaxed. And again, keep the ball of the foot on the mat. You should feel your whole foot on the mat. You shouldn't feel it go to the inside or the outside. And then slowly come down. So essentially, you're just lifting and lowering. You don't have to even think about rolling your spine. Now, if you want to, you could go with both. Once you get that down, so do it on both sides, and you feel good. You feel good, and you feel what your gluteals can do. Then you just do a rolling version of that. So instead of just coming up and down, you're going to focus on articulating your spine. So you just use your breath. You take an inhale, and as you exhale, you just rock your pelvis towards the mat gently through pushing into your heels just a little bit. But try to keep the front of your hips pretty soft on this. And then just push into the heels gently. But instead of lifting up, imagine rolling the spine up. And you want to try to feel every vertebra lifting one at a time off the mat. You only come up to maybe the lower part of your shoulder blades. Your chest should be relaxed. Everything should be relaxed. And then you lower down nice and slowly. You want to try it to, again, feel the vertebra hit one at a time. If you do this exercise and you just feel everything lift up at once and everything lower at once, then I would highly recommend that you just go back to this exercise. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your spine may not be ready to articulate yet or articulate that well. So better to do something like this where the back is a bit more protected to strengthen your hips. And then work on the articulation later through other exercises. So that's the series that goes with the little blog post, and so I hope it helps. But remember, you want to make sure that you smush the feet, that you stimulate your abs, that you self-mobilize the toes, that you strengthen the hip extensors, the hip abductors as well. Okay, and remember, it's all about what you don't use rather than what you do use in these positions. So make sure that things like your hip flexors are relaxed, your toe flexors, your chest, even your lats. Make sure all these things are relaxed and that you're focusing specifically on the movement and what you are supposed to use.